Illinois Wesleyan University participated in the demolition of a structure that was located at 1103 McLean Street in Bloomington, Illinois. Wesleyan used the demolition services of Kirk C&D Recycling. Prior to the demolition of the house, 3 tons of asphalt shingles were removed from the structure. Also prior to demolition, the windows, furnace, electrical wiring, and some copper and metal piping were removed. During the demolition process, water was used to control the dust to make sure there was no emissions that left the site. The excavator is not only used to tear down the structure, but it is also used to break the materials down into smaller pieces. This allows the materials to be transported into a container more efficiently and reducing the number of loads that leave the site. Also, once it gets to the recycling center, the smaller material is easier to feed onto the machines used in the recycling process. It is also easier to pull out the smaller pieces by hand. Once the structure is down and the materials are prepped to a smaller size, it's then loaded and transported into roll-off dumpsters and/or semi-trailers. The containers now can be transported to Henson's Disposal Recycle Center. After the incoming materials are weighed and accounted for, they are brought into the building, placed on the floor, and loaded onto the vibrating screen. The function of the vibrating screen is to put the materials into a uniform flow and also to remove all the small material, the fines, that will be later used as an alternate daily cover. As seen on the upper left-hand side of the screen, the fines go up the conveyor belt, which has a cross-belt magnet over the top of it. This magnet will remove the ferrous metals. This is a view of the overhead magnet. It mainly pulls out nails, nuts, bolts, washers, and smaller metal items. The fines now travel up the incline conveyor belt and are loaded directly into a semi-trailer. This trailer is now transported to the landfill, and once at the landfill, the material is used for alternate daily cover. Using this cover replaces the need of using virgin aggregate rock material for making temporary roads. What you are seeing now are the larger construction and demolition materials being transported by the incline conveyor to the recycling sorting stations at the picking line. Once the materials get to the picking line, each station removes a specific item. These items include wood, rock, aggregate, metal, and shingles. The woods that are removed by hand are dropped through a chute and loaded directly into a roll-off container. The roll-off container is then transported to a location where the wood is reduced, reused, and recycled. Metals, like you see here, that were removed from our facilities are transported to other locations where they can be put back into the market. Also removed are fiber products such as cardboard, paper, newspapers, books, and magazines. They are compacted and transported to another recycling facility. All the aggregates shown here are removed from the waste stream, placed in containers, and hauled to a facility where they will crush them and put them back out in the market as rock. Items containing copper, such as wire, cable, and pipe, are separately removed and placed in the individual containers. The unrecyclables now fall directly into a semi-trailer, which once loaded is transported directly to the landfill. The machine shown here will reduce the wood to a size further which will allow it to be used later for either road cover at a landfill or boiler fuel at a biomass plant that will turn it into electricity. The machine shown here breaks the wood down into a fine, uniform product that can be sold as mulch. This is what the machine produces, a fine wood mulch. Here sits a house that we recycled 76 tons of aggregate, 69.58 tons of construction materials, and 3 tons of shingles. We only sent 1.42 tons of materials to the landfill. 98% of what used to stand here is not in a landfill. Illinois Wesleyan University can take pride in being green.